So right now there's this video of a store owner that is chasing down some guys that left this restaurant without tipping. This is going up viral on Twitter. I saw it about 7 times, and I've seen a lot of think pieces about this, and I want to point something out very important about the aspect of tipping. I'm going to have a very measured response. Tipping is the worst social contract to ever exist. Let's look at my favorite social contract, the one that requires nothing from the other person that most people don't do. This is a shopping cart. Now, a shopping cart provides a perfect litmus test. You may have seen this post floating around all around the internet where a shopping cart proves whether if you are a good person or not, because there is no benefit at all. There's nothing. You gain nothing. You gain just nada. You gain nada from returning a shopping cart. You don't gain anything. All that you gain is that you're helping the next person. You're actively paying it forward with no benefit to yourself. Thus, a shopping cart provides a perfect litmus test for if we were in a lawless society, would you be able to function and be good and not lose your minds? You know, when the apocalypse happens and everybody's like, I gotta steal TVs! Boom! Everybody's grabbing stuff from the stores and looting and robbing. Would you be one of the looters or the robbers, or would you be somebody that can reasonably keep their composure and not break down and not lose their mind and not riot? That is what the shopping cart proposes, because tipping does the exact opposite of the shopping cart test, because tipping is done to prove you care. You cannot prove you are a good person monetary wise. You can't do that. You cannot buy being a good person. If you think you can buy being a good person, you often say things like, well, guys, during this stream, we're going to donate to charity. And you can say to yourself, well, I want to help charity. And you would donate to charity, despite the fact that you cannot buy being a good person. It may be a cause that's deep and near to you. You may think to yourself, oh, this is breast cancer. Oh, this is immune deficiency. Oh, this is cancer. Oh, this is gout. This is GERD. This is sickle cell. I care about these things. So you donate to the research and the charity, and that will be making you feel good, but that doesn't make you a good person. That makes you somebody that cares about your own values and wants to help your own values. And that's okay. Your obsession with being a good person causes you to tip, because the person that you're tipping actively knows you tipped them. That's the important aspect. Tipping is extremely important. And before I continue, I'd like to give a little bit of my credentials why I'm talking about this. I have worked at Waffle House, where I solely relied on tips. I have worked at DoorDash. DoorDash, heavy tip. Heavy. It relies so heavily on tips. There's 2 different ways you can DoorDash. There's paid by hour, where you get paid about $15 an hour plus a subsidiary tip. And then there's just basing it off of the order that you get and the tip in itself. There's 2 different methods right now. And you have to accept most orders because DoorDash won't send you stuff if you don't take all the orders. Instacart relies on tipping as well. And I did a bunch of stuff with Instacart. That's an important aspect there. I worked at Frisch's Big Boys. I worked a lot of server jobs. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. On weekends, I was a party host, and I was relying primarily on tips because Chuck E. Cheese don't pay that much, man. Bucky Me's don't pay that much, man. They don't pay money. I gotta get in a rat suit. They making me get in a rat suit, dance for the kids every hour on the hour. It's not really good. It's playtime. Poppy playtime. Yay! It was horrifying. I didn't really enjoy it that much. So that's why I'm talking about tipping today. I think tipping is stupid. I think, realistically, that you, as a owner of a restaurant, if you do own a restaurant and you found my video by some miracle or some accident, I'm not that big of a YouTuber, I'm just here. If you found my video by some miracle or accident and you are an owner of a restaurant, you should be tipping your employees. More so, you shouldn't just be tipping them, you should be paying them well. You should give them extra money on top of that, because the worst part of customer service is dealing with the customers. That's the worst part. It's the same aspect as, I love online video games, I just don't like the community aspect because I hate dealing with the people in those online communities. I love D&D, realistically, I really do, but I hate dealing with the people a part of the D&D community. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I love them, but I hate dealing with the people because communities always suck. They are so bad. Monster Hunter community is pretty okay. Dragon Ball Z sucks. I hate talking about One Piece because the community in One Piece sucks ass. Admirals are stronger than Yonkos. I don't care about any of that worthless garbage. Power scaling community sucks. It's hot ass. I hate every second of it. It makes me feel like garbage. It makes my soul feel asunder. It feels like I'm gonna rip my skin out of my body. I hate every second of it. So that is the aspects of dealing with tipping and customer service. In server life, you have to deal with active people all the time. I'd love working at Walmart, actually, if I could work and just stock shelves and work on pallets and not deal with the customers. customers, that'd be the best part. I would hate being cashier and talking to people to and fro. I feel like everybody on the planet should have to deal with hospitality or customer service before they do this, because it would make you view the entire bulk of the human race wildly different if you got the opportunity to do that. If you got the chance to do that, it will make you feel like your brain is melting from the inside of your ears and outside of your stomach. It will make you feel like you're festering inside of your body. That is how I feel about customer service in totality, if you're ever curious about that. But tipping in itself, I think, is a stupid system because it relies on humans. It relies on people. If someone goes out to eat and they don't have enough money, they just want their favorite burger. They just decide they want their favorite burger, and their burger is $12.25, so they brought $13. And so they get taxed and they say, okay, it's about $12.61, and then boom, they pay $12.61. Did they do anything wrong with that interaction? No, they did not do anything wrong with the interaction. But let's say some girl says, I'm going to take your order and bring you the food. So that's 2 actions taken out of you. That's good. Time is valued so deeply for everyone because it's the only resource that you're not allowed to get back. It is the only resource that is finite in this reality. Money comes back, resources come back. Hell, your computer could break and it could come back. Children even could come back. You can't, lives are important. I'm not gonna lie, lives are very important. However, time for yourself, all the time you feel like you're wasting, the time you spend for recreation, the time you spend working out, all those things, those are horrifically limited. That's why advertisers pay so much for somebody to take more of your time, because time is very important, and that server's job is to make the timing easier so you don't have to get up, grab your own food. That's very important. However, tipping has gone a bit too far now. Why am I tipping you at a self-serve froyo place? I went to a self-serve froyo place called the Ein Igloo. It's called the Ein Igloo. It's in Plymouth, I believe. And in the Ein Igloo is a self-serve froyo place. Very important. If you build the thing yourself, put the ingredients and toppings on yourself, who are you tipping? The cashier for doing the math? I still had to weigh it out and decide the weight of everything. I didn't ask the woman to go grab all that stuff. And guess what? I didn't tip at the froyo place, dude. I don't have the money to. I just wanted froyo. I don't even enjoy froyo that much. I just felt like the urge to have it that day. She looked at me angry that I didn't tip, despite the fact that I made my own food. Now, if I'm at a restaurant, fancy place, bada bing, bada boom, having my own business, doing my own thing, just minding my black business, doing all that jazz, and someone takes my order, writes that down, yes, you want the steak, okay, medium rare, perfect, yes. I don't want human interaction for the most part. You can take the server away from the equation for the most part. You could do that. You could actively do that. At a lot of Applebee's that I go to, there's a kiosk in the middle where you can order from. And you know what happens? The server brings out the food. I didn't have an interaction with her. Do I still tip in that instance? Tipping is a disgusting, weird, broken social contract because there's so many stagnating rules. This is the worst part of tipping. As I stated earlier, it's the community behind tipping. Same with online video games. The community behind tipping are the most entitled pieces of garbage I've ever had to deal with. And I've been a part of the community because I relied solely on tips growing up at one point. I really did. It was all I could rely money on. Now, what do they do? You're a piece of shit for not tipping. You're garbage. You're an asshole. You deserve that. I don't know why you don't tip. If you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat out, is how I feel. Horrible argument. That's dumb as hell. You should be free to, if you can pay for the food, you should be allowed to eat the food. You can make it at home. I can't make. That chef back there should be the one getting the tip. He's doing most of the work. I would come up and grab the food if I could, or you could just increase the price of the food or add gratuity at the end of the bill and tell me there's gratuity on the bill. That would be a much more efficient system. Or you could just raise the prices. Well, if you raise the prices, people are going to want to come. Cool. Great. Welcome to the real world. I'm just going to have to pay more, I guess. People pay for the Nintendo Switch too. I'm pretty sure they pay for a Big Mac if it were $9. I'm going to keep it 100 stacks with you. People use DoorDash because of the convenience, even if it costs more to use DoorDash. And they still don't tip the Dasher. They just paid the extra cost on DoorDash is what they do. That is people. They value convenience more than anything. Did you know back in the day, this is very important, fun fact about McDonald's, we used to have a much bigger burger called the third pounder, but instead we have the quarter pounder because humans thought that a quarter was bigger than a third because it sounded bigger, because 0.25 is bigger than 0.3. Welcome to the real world. That's how it operated. 0.25 is bigger than 0.3. People thought that 1/4 was bigger than 1/3 because 4 is bigger than 3, despite the fact that it is not. That is how people are. We are stupid. The average person is an idiot. That is fine. That is okay. That doesn't make anything bad. It doesn't ruin anything. It doesn't ruin the experience for anyone. It really doesn't. It doesn't ruin anything for anybody. However, you must factor this in when you talk about tipping. So, what should we do about tipping? We should stop tipping is a dumb argument, because you know what's going to happen if you stop tipping? What's going to happen if you stop tipping is the person that's a server is not going to get paid. That is all that's going to happen. You're not solving anything. You're not accomplishing a deeper, bigger goal. You are making a bigger issue. The owner isn't going to suffer. He's going to say, well, hey, he didn't tip you, so out of my hands. You're still getting paid $4.25 an hour, so somebody else might tip you. And if that becomes a bigger movement, that's going to be bad. My suggestion was a mass walkout. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, oh, that would suck. Then places would close and people would lose their jobs, and that would be bad. Yeah, that's how you unionize. You protest. And yes, your protest is not protected by the union. However, you know what is going to be fun? Them not having anybody to make money for them. Period. That's my suggestion. Is it going to work? Probably not at first. It might take a few weeks, maybe a few months. But if all the servers on the planet decide to go on strike and not serve, you know what would happen? We would get somewhere. Is what I want to think. But then I realized something. One of my local places up the street did go on strike, and all the people walked out. Do you know what happened? New people were desperate for a job because we are in a job crisis, so new people got hired immediately. And they jumped on that opportunity. That's what happened. And then the newer people stayed, and they have a new staff now, and the place didn't close down, and that strike was worthless because humans are stupid. Tipping shouldn't have been invented in the first place. Tipping started because they didn't want to pay black people a reasonable wage, so they made tipping as a way so the owners of the store didn't have to pay black people. That's what happened. That's the beginning of tipping. In Japan, when I went there and visited Saitama, there is no tipping. There's no tipping there. When I was in Europe, there's no tipping. And people say, well, in other countries, they don't tip. You're in America, though, right? You're in America, and we have a tipping culture here, and it's really stupid, and you're considered a piece of shit if you don't tip. So the social contract obligates that you do tip, but you don't want to tip. You just don't tell anybody you don't tip, but they know you, and they say they're going to spit in your food, and they say, oh, this person's a piece of garbage because he doesn't tip. We shouldn't even serve him because he doesn't tip me. Which is also stupid. It's retaliation to a retaliation. It's a dumb tactic because they're still paying for the food that they purchase. It's not as if they're doing anything extra or crazy. They're just adding a hidden cost. It's as if you didn't read the terms and service and condition. It's like you go outside and you don't say bless you, or if you don't return the shopping cart. Are you a bad person because you don't tip? People think you are because people think the more money you have, the better person you are. A lot of people think that. People think celebrities are actually good people. That's a horrible mindset. People think people that are prettier are good people. That's a horrible mindset to have. You cannot buy being a good person. You cannot do that. So what is my solution to tipping? What is my ultimate solution? My ultimate solution is that it shouldn't have been invented in the first place. But it's going to get worse. I was offered to tip at self-checkout at Kroger's. They have a tipping option at the self-checkout at Kroger's. At a self-serve Froyo Pace, they had a, you guessed it, tipping option. There was a tipping option on my Amazon delivery. I don't know if they're testing it out and rolling it out. I'm not sure. Video game developers think that we should tip them for certain live service games. This is a pandemic. of nonsense. This is goofy and nonsensical. It's dumb. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's here and it's gonna stay. And that's gonna suck. It's gonna be ass. You're gonna hate every second of it. It's not gonna be fun. So, my solution to tipping is revolution more than anything. It's destruction. We should burn down, annihilate all the structures that have tipping. We should ruin the lives of people that force tipping upon people is what we should do. We should rally behind everything. We should do mass protests, mass walkouts. We should do petitions. We should go to our local government officials and ostracize tipping and go for a higher working wage. We should put it upon the greedy CEOs is what we should do. We should stop having this infighting and class war. We should work on that. But that is not going to happen if you stop tipping. If you stop tipping, you're only hurting the person. So my solution overall, my final thesis, is that we need to attack the big wigs where it hurts the most. We need to find some way to walk out or find somewhere where it hurts their actual business because they only speak in money. So in that way, you only speak in money too because you think you're a good person because you're doing it to charity. You think you're a good person because you buy Girl Scout cookies and help the troops. You think in some way you're a good person by doing these small, little, disgusting things. You think you're good if you donate to the church, but you're not a good person if you donate. You cannot buy being a good person. There's no universe in which that is real. If you think that, then return a shopping cart and do it all the time, every single time. Then you're a good person. Don't even care about being a good person. Screw being good. It's subjective completely. Be kind. Be kind and don't harm anybody. That's the most important thing to be. Tip if you can. If you cannot tip, then that is okay. But you should not be hated for not tipping. That causes infighting and hate. You will push someone to the other side of hell if you hate them for not tipping. I know it's your livelihood. I know you're passionate about it. I know you're heated about it, but shut the fuck up for 6 seconds. People are broke. The economy's in fucking shambles. Inflation's crazy. Everything's bad. I just want a fucking sandwich. That's it. I don't care that you have a daughter to feed. I don't care about any of this worthless shit. I just want to eat, man. I just want to eat. Is that fine? Is that okay that I just want to go eat without worrying about the weird social contract of blessed shoes and holding the door open and returning the shopping cart and tipping? I just want to get a fucking sandwich. I don't want to be forced into this worthless, pointless one-on-one interaction between two people that I didn't ask for. I didn't ask to have this interaction right now. I didn't ask to have this speaking, verbal fucking hoo-ha of speaking to you and having this awkward conversation when I could have just told the chef what I wanted in the first place, besides you doing 2 actions upon grabbing my food, bringing it to me, and saying have a good day. I can grab my own goddamn straws. You know that, right? It's not that hard of a fucking job. Speaking to people sucks. Customers are ass and they're a piece of garbage. I know that. I'm one of the customers. I worked in the service industry, but you insulting me and telling me I'm a piece of shit for not tipping is stupid. I do deserve to eat even if I can't tip, and when I do have money I will tip. That's the reality of the real world. You're not entitled to a fucking tip. It's not the law. It is a social contract like most things are. Welcome to the real world. Do something about it. Do something more besides blaming the proprietors and people of it. Stop blaming the people who have no choice but to participate in the stupid, broken system that you're also being a loop in. You're attacking each other when the real person is watching us at the top hill, laughing at us that we're fighting against each other, tearing our faces off over this stupid, worthless concept of tipping. That's the big issue. Grow up, you fucking selfish piece of shit. Thank you. I love you. Have a good day. Bye.